Hello. Hello, everybody. This is G. You're watching, you know what you're watching, Allastrology. We're going to talk about the week of February 19th. Yep, I got the chart up here, February 19th. And we are into 2024. We made it past the first month. We're now third week of February. And by now, different is on the menu. So before we dip into the chart, I'm going to go through the 7 days. I'll highlight the main things that are going to occur for the week. And there's also a full moon coming up this week, so I'll give a mention to that. But there's a separate video for that to go for the deep dive. But I will touch on it and talk about it a little bit here. And then, we'll talk about if there's going to be any surprises, which... You know, when you're in Aquarius season, you should always just expect the unexpected. But there is going to be some planets that are making moves, and so we're going to talk about that because Pisces season starts to flavor some of the keywords and the meanings and the experiences that we're going to have. So before we go into that all, I just want to make a quick mention here. I had to leave it there so I could remember because I'm just a ditz when it comes to this stuff. Self-promoting, it's not my thing. The Starry Night Lives, every Saturday night, 9 p.m., be there or be square. Like, I don't know what else to say. We look at charts. We could look at your chart. Make sure you get your digits to me ahead of time, preferably, absolutely, Friday before the Saturday at the latest. Every Saturday, 9 p.m., here on the channel. All right, with that, let's get to the business. February 19th. There it is. Okay? So we're going to start at the Monday, and then I've got some dates written down here on the chart. Yep, we're going to go big. And so right off the top, Monday the 19th, what do we got? We got Venus and Mars conjunct. They're not exact, but they will be exact this week. But they're close enough. They're already talking, and they're in the sign of Aquarius. So right there, that says new and different. Venus is what? Desires, your money, the bank account, right? Your income, right? We're already hearing rumblings when I'm recording this. I mean, we knew this. I've been talking about it on the channel forever. Because we've got Uranus and Taurus, and that's our values, and that's banking. And then we've got Aquarius energy, right? Well, Pluto entered Aquarius 21st, 22nd of January. So we knew there was going to be changes coming, right? And we had already heard rumblings about the Biden administration going after the crazy bank fees for people, different kind of fees, right? Insufficient fund fees, you know how they can be like $35 and some really outrageous stuff. Basically, you're getting fined for not having money, and anyway, so changes. And so we'll see how that all works out. By the time this video is watched, because it's like a month in advance, I'm recording it at least a month out. Maybe this will be more in the mainstream media. I don't know. Maybe it'll have already just like stalled. I don't know, but I do know with Pluto and Aquarius, there's major changes within a system, a big system, right? And so we think of banking, we think of central banking, right? Centralized banking and changes. And then also digital and crypto and just AI and technology and space and NASA and science and different and inventions and electric and that could electric vehicles, but mass transportation as well. So Venus energy, desires and money conjunct Mars, right? Conjunct Mars. And Mars is, I'm going to take action with this, which is why I feel really confident that these changes, we should probably expect them. And they're new and different, Aquarius energy. Okay. So let's take a peek at that, how that looks on the chart. And we go over to Aquarius, and there it is. There's your Venus and your Mars on the 19th, okay? 4 degrees, 358 Venus, right? So she's at 4. Yeah, the chart's super busy, so I'm going to kind of probably do close-ups and try not to go too big if I don't have to because it's going to be confusing. I have so many lines drawn to study it ahead of time. But you see, 4 degrees and this is at 5, they're conjunct. So this conjunction, we would have started to feel it on that weekend and maybe have heard some rumblings on that weekend even, possibly. So taking action, right? But also taking action, we think of how things can be uncomfortable, seriously, agitated, but stressful and tension, because Aquarius energy, it squares Taurus energy. It squares the fixed energy. So it squares the Taurus and the Scorpio, right? And so here in the chart, if I were to back it up a little bit for you, I'm just going to highlight the Scorpio energy real quick, the red. We don't have anything at 0. We don't have anything at 0, but we do have Haumea here. And Haumea here, this is part of that as well. Having her here will actually help this because she's changing and transforming something, right? She's like, I'm creating something, right? I'm coming along and there's something that's been kind of destroyed, but here I am to create something, all right? And guess what? She's at 2 degrees. So that creates a square to Venus, right? And then a day or two before, a few days before, Mars was squaring Haumea. So there's friction and there's stress. And normally whenever you see the friction and the stress in a chart, it just means something is happening. There's some friction. And normally when you have friction, things are rubbing together. People are talking. Something has to be worked out. It doesn't just easily happen. There has to be steps that have to happen for it to work out. Okay. So the thing is, they're already at 3 and 5. So when they get closer together, which they will, they're going to meet up at 7 degrees, meaning Venus and Mars are at a table. Actually, they're kind of more like sitting in each other's laps at 3 and 7. And Venus, Mars they want to be in each other's laps, quite frankly. Venus, feminine energy, Mars, masculine energy. They're like, can we get together? Can we be like this? Right? That's Venus and Mars. And the thirst for new and different is super strong. So yeah, you can apply that to your life, right? Yeah, you absolutely can. It would be more significant if you have something at the matching degrees. But if you're feeling fired up, if you're feeling like, gosh, I just feel like I need to break out and I need to be independent, but independent with somebody else, somebody new and different, because it's Venus and Mars. So it's a new system being created here. And when Venus and Mars get together, well, they can create something because Venus and Mars make babies, right? Yeah. So that's kind of the story right there. And it starts the beginning of this week. And that sends stress and tension to things that already existed. Our shared values, Scorpio energy. We get stressed because we're like, but wait a minute, what's going to happen? Well, so the institutions might not be happy, right? Banks might not be happy. If that passes, it might be something else. There could be a lot of different things. Scorpio energy is insurances. So Venus and Mars over there, right? And so all of this is coming down from someone who's higher up because it's Aquarian energy. But it's also someone who's kind of like a public figure, a diplomat even, possibly someone who could be the head person in charge of institutions. So we think of people in government. We could even think presidential energy, right? We think of, the head person in charge. And that takes you to the sun at 0 degrees in Pisces. Pisces is more about institutional energy. So we think of hospitals, we think of government buildings, right? When we think of Pisces. And I say buildings, not so much as the bricks part of it, but the institution itself and the people within that institution, right? So it could be the speakers, the politicians, the people who are in front of the camera giving the performances. So if somebody who is talking, and I'm tired of talking about the United States politics, and I don't spend a lot of time on it, but there's always something to refer to where people are performing for the camera, right? But these can also be people who it's their job to perform, meaning it's my job to act in front of you. It's my job to play music. It's my job to sing. It's my job to perform. Like I know I'm going to a performance. I expect a performance. It's different though when you're public figures, you're praying and hoping that if they represent you, that they're not performing in a way where they're acting, you see? So my point to all of this is there's just a lot of support at this time because we've got Saturn at 8, we've got the sun at 0. The sun's going to catch up to Saturn in 7 days. So by the following week, the sun and Saturn will be conjunct. And that's jumping ahead a little bit. So let's back it up and go look at some other objects here. So the Venus and Mars that I originally spoke of are going to meet up, and they're going to meet up on the 22nd. They're going to be exact at 7 degrees. Okay. So if you've got something in your chart in the fixed signs, specifically Taurus and Scorpio, right? Because they're going to be over here at 7, and Venus and Mars together at 7 may cause some stress and tension to your Taurus energy if you got anything there. Well, looky, what do we got? We got something at 941. We got Jupiter at 941, and it's in Taurus, banking. You follow? Now, we got Jupiter there. That can be judgments. That can also be somebody who's, I don't want to say an authority figure, but we think of judges. They have rulings, right? And so, in a sense, in a courtroom, they're the authority figure. But then who's the authority of them? Like, who can go above them? Well, then we think Supreme Court, possibly. And again, within the United States stuff, a lot of court cases, people's heads are spinning. You can't keep track of which court case is when and what it's about. There's a lot federal. There's just a lot of things happening. And so surely there will be something that isn't probably favorable for somebody in particular who used to be in charge, because you've got Venus and Mars and Aquarius on the authority. And then this squaring off here. And then for Scorpio energy too, right? Like there's this abundance, lot of abundance at 8 degrees here, actually. And so that's like in an opposition with Jupiter, matter of fact. And that would create a large T-square, and it's fixed energy. And whenever we have fixed energy, it's my values and then our values and then a new paradigm. I hate to say the word, but it is. It's like we're creating a new structure, but we're doing it because we're creating a structure. So it is going against the grain, yet it's going to be uncomfortable because we're not used to it, whatever that is. So to follow that up in your chart, you're paying attention of your Aquarius energy, your Taurus energy, and your Scorpio energy. You follow? And you want to see what house numbers those are in for you. And then to find out more meaning, find out where's your Venus, because Venus rules Taurus. So I'm just going to give everybody a warning. Yeah, you can see it and hear me and I'm talking. My information it's kind of like on information overload. Just a lot of details coming out, a lot of information, and it's moving fast. But we're talking, where's your Uranus in your chart? Where's your Venus in your chart? Where is your Mars in your chart? Where's your Pluto in your natal chart? All those things, all those planets and the signs that they're in the houses that they're in, take those keywords. Those will give you the additional information you need to fill in the blank of what exactly will I be feeling the stress and the tension with, other than me saying it's your values and your shared values, and it's your group energy, Aquarius, friends and group energy, right? Systems and routines on a large level, and social causes, social services is a big one with Aquarius, social services. So we think of Social Security, we think of disability, we think of all the other social services. Pluto going through Aquarius, absolutely. Social services being revamped. And we also think of just changes on a very deep level within the way that we have things structured, because it's all about cutting edge energy. New, different, and cutting edge, Aquarius and science and space, right? But we get uncomfortable because we think AI and we're like, oh my God, what? That's going to be in charge of this. And so it challenges routine. It challenges tradition. It challenges what we have become comfortable with. And that can be difficult. Challenges to what we have become comfortable with. So just expect that those things in the next 20 years, all that's going to be going through a revamping and an update. An update. You know when you got to do an update on your computer? Well, that's really quick and short, right? Pluto through Aquarius, it might not be that fast. You follow? It's going to be 20 years. Although Pluto in Aquarius in and of itself will move a little bit faster than Pluto in Capricorn, because Capricorn was more of a let's slow down energy, right? And Aquarius is more of lightning strikes. And so when I say that, I mean it's like real fast. You know, when a lightning strike hits, it's super fast, it's out of nowhere, and it's like, holy crap. So we think of Pluto, which does dig deep and works at that unbelievably hidden layer, like below the surface kind of stuff. And so we can think our energetic grid even, right? The energy grid and how that needs revamping and updating in some way. So these things can all be a part of this in a slow process, to be sure. But for some of us, it might seem like, whoa, slow down. So next in the chart, we're going to go to Mercury. You see, I have Mercury drawn up here at 29 degrees. Now, I'm pointing that out because that 29 degrees happens to be at the same time that Mars and Venus are conjunct at 7. And it's Mercury in Aquarius. So there can be certain individuals who are going to get shocks and surprises, okay? And the chances are they may get contacted, I want to say even the Sunday and the Saturday before this, because Mercury would have been at like 27, 28 degrees. Remember, she can move a full almost 2 degrees within one day. So possibly even that Friday before, there might have been inklings of, okay, there's something coming down the pike here, and it's going to be difficult. Who would it be difficult for? Well, this is fixed energy, right? It's Aquarius. So again, it would be the late degrees of Taurus and Scorpio, but also late degrees of Leo energy, late degrees of Leo. So interestingly enough, on this day, we have Black Moon Lilith at 28, right? Going direct, which means the day before, a few days before, she was sitting around 27. Well, there's a lot of folks that have their Regulus energy. I mean, these are older people, okay? When they were born, Regulus was at 27 degrees, right? These are the folks who have Pluto at a low degree in their chart. Folks who have Pluto at a very low degree. I'm talking between 0 and like 8 degrees of Leo, okay? 6, 7, 8 degrees of Leo. So this Black Moon Lilith hovering around that area, you know, she's always got to throw a monkey wrench into something, but at the same time, you got Mercury opposing the Black Moon Lilith, you see, while Mars is conjunct. And so this can be a bit of some news and information that people could find stressful, okay? Because that's Mercury. What's in the news? It's information. It's, you know, I'm the networker. It's what I'm sharing, what I'm consuming. It's business. It's trade. It's sales. It's talking, it's e-commerce, social media, snail mail, you know. So Mercury delivering some possibly shocking and surprising news, okay? So that all happens, you know, by Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That kind of covers shocks and surprises possibly for certain individuals at the beginning of the week. Then we come upon the full moon. But before we get to the full moon, I have Pluto drawn in down here. For all my lines, don't get all concerned about those lines there, so that I could understand the big picture. Pluto has moved to 1 degree this fast. Look at this. We're February 19th and Pluto, for the first time since we've been alive. Yeah, Pluto is at 1 degrees of Aquarius. Yikes. Wow. And you're going to probably think I'm making this stuff up because it seems like, really? Is this possible? It is possible. It's at 1 degrees of Aquarius, and it happens around the same time Mercury hits the 29 degrees of Aquarius. You see? So it's fascinating because we're talking about power, intense power, possibly power struggles going on. For some folks, this might be wonderful, beautiful stuff. But for others, there's that difficulty. There's that stress and there's that tension. Okay? So surprises. Pluto can bring those surprises. And again, it's within the global systems. And there could be unions happening, union information, because Pluto's all about creating unions. It's about people power because it's Aquarius within, Pluto and Aquarius is the people. It's the group energy. So Pluto wants for you, the average worker, think about it, to stop having the short end of the stick. So it kind of challenges the big money, the big power, those where it's the big businesses controlling the government and the legislation and all of that. So Pluto is basically going to have the back of the people. And so you just kind of want to pay attention because especially for those who are in the States who, you're in an election year, you want a candidate who's going to basically say, hey, a healthy economy is based on a healthy consumer, a financially healthy consumer. And a financially healthy consumer means my workers, the people who live in the state, like the regular Joe Schmoes, well, they have to be healthy. So we might find, I'm praying, changes within healthcare as well and reform their beginning. Because social services and healthcare and all this stuff, it's all got to be revamped and changed. And Pluto at those 0 degrees was nudging Regulus at 0 degrees in Virgo. You see that? Yeah, that's 0 degrees of Virgo. There was a nudge there, 0-10. So all that really happened in January, okay? But then Pluto now at 1 degrees, Pluto's now kind of firmly got its feet planted in Aquarius, which says new, different, and change. Okay, so for everybody, lots of people are, have options on the table. And that's Mercury. Let's not forget, Mercury brings us options and choices. Okay, so as a heads up, there's a Mercury retrograde video already recorded. It's going to come up soon because I've got people already asking questions. Hey, what about this and this and this? Mercury's going to do a retrograde, and it's going to be in the fire signs for 2024. So it's going to be in Aries. And yes, the Mercury retrograde in Aries is going to retrograde over the April eclipse point. So that eclipse point, what that means is there would be new starts because it's fiery Aries, right? But Mercury going over that means it's there's choices and options, and we're looking at those new starts and we're saying, okay, do we need to make a change in the plan? It doesn't mean we have to completely back out of something. It just means there could be retweaking done. Okay, we made this plan. Now let's see where we're at. Let's take a look at it. Let's make the adjustments if we need to make them. So that's kind of just a short little heads up for that. Now we go to the 24th, and there's a full moon, and yes, it's a full moon in Virgo. Full moon in Virgo. It happens at a low degree. It's at 5 degrees in Virgo. And what's interesting is, 5 degrees of Virgo is very close to where Regulus is. Okay? 5 degrees in Virgo is where the full moon happens. All right? And so we're going to back up this chart a little bit here and take a peek. I'm not going to talk about this too long because I have that other video and I want you to go watch that instead. But this full moon, if it's at 5 degrees, that means the sun will be at 5 degrees. In Pisces. So if the sun is at 5 degrees in Pisces, right, then what we're looking at is the sun near Saturn, right? Yeah, the sun is near Saturn at that time because Saturn is actually sitting, I think it's going to be at 9 degrees then. And if you look, well, it's not on this chart, but at that time we'll have Jupiter this chart already has Jupiter at 9. Jupiter's not so fast of a mover. You see that? Jupiter's at 9 and Saturn will have moved to 9. The sun will be sitting there at 5. So there's support between stable Taurus energy and Saturn. There will be support, okay? And the sun sitting at 5, again, it's still kind of like that authority figure, but somebody likely possibly in politics, somebody talking to us, but it's a full moon. It's not a new moon, it's a full moon. And so when you have the full moon, it's a release in something, and it's a release in Virgo energy, which could be, we might be hearing certain jobs no longer existing, certain tasks at my job no longer existing, some routine I did at my job no longer existing, possibly a department being eliminated. I know that sounds harsh. Remember, there's a really large reshuffling and a reshaping and a reforming going on. So even if there is some sort of hey, we don't have anything right now, or hey, we got to lay you off. If that occurs, just understand we're in a cycle where that may be expected right now. There's a lot of reconfiguration happening, okay? So just be aware of that, and just understand that all is not lost and just like helter-skelter scattered, but there is change here, definitely change. We do have some stuff in blue, Earth energy in the trines. I'm going to outline that in black. I've got the blue drawn up here. There's not a whole lot, but we've got Juno, and we've got, yeah, you can see it right there. But we've got Juno at 16, and we've got, like White Moon Lilith over here at 13. White Moon Lilith's going to move forward, so she'll trine Juno. Juno's going backwards. Juno is in a retrograde that goes all the way back to like 6 degrees of Virgo, which means the partnerships and the work and the habits and the routines and the health care, right? Nursing, taking care of people, serving in some practical, tangible, non-flashy way. Like all that's kind of being revamped and thought through. And then food, Ceres at 4 degrees, right? Going forward. And then Cupid there, and Vega. This trine, that's what I meant to do. I wanted to move it so that Vega is part of the trine. Vega is really powerful, all right? When I find the Vega and read Vega for you real quick. Vega has been sitting here in Capricorn for a very long time, okay? So Vega in Capricorn is about building something that's long-term. This is known as the chief star of the constellation Lyra, the Lyra of Orpheus, traditionally a very fortunate star, manifesting harmony, its artistic talents, and a kindly nature. So kind of like Venus energy to it, which can be associated with values and money. There's an eye for detail, so is Virgo, which means Juno and Virgo, and balance, an eye for detail and balance. The caution is to watch for overindulgences and to just keep an even approach. So we've got Ceres there, and Ceres is the food and the grain, right? And it's in Capricorn, building long-term Earth. Capricorn is Earth, thinking about the planet possibly. And then there's that Vega I spoke about. So that's something that can create stability and possibly infrastructure for farming, for the planet, for the animals, and to provide food security. All right, so go watch that Virgo full moon video. I will link it below. You got any questions? Comment below. And if you're still with me, know that I appreciate you and your time, and I will see you in the next video, or maybe even on the Starry Night Live every Saturday at 9 p.m. Until then, thank you. Bye-bye.